Okay, that should be running. Double check. Yes. Looks like we are all right. Okay. That should be good. Let's just take a look here. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very glad to have you back. We're just taking a couple look-sees here at the channel. And oh my goodness, if it isn't a whole lot of you. Let me get out our chat here, pop it out, boop, and let's take a look here. Alrighty. Welcome. Glad to have you all. So glad to have folks here. So, today, little thing that we're going to do, just because, well, it's been such an absolute pleasure to run through this with all you guys. I wanted to go and look at some stuff with you guys. One of the main things was I've never done like a channel analytics thing, and I kind of wanted to show some funny stuff that I've observed, so to speak, especially about some of our overall like channel analytics that I found kind of funny. And then we're also going to be going into Homebrew and some stuff about the channel going forward. And it's an absolute pleasure to do this with you guys. I have the whole Homebrew thing up right here. It's got all of our lovely stuff. All of my reviews of it, I just got it done. There's quite a bit. We got 30-something things to review overall. Yeah, our stream's fine. So we got 30 total homebrews, or 27 total homebrews. Quite a few were like partial or would have come along in a couple of days, but either way, we are doing it today. So the plan is to do this stream for a little bit of time, talk with all you folks, say hi, and then I'm going to go quickly through the channel, and I'm going to even more quickly just jump through this real fast. Now, I'm not going to go into any of these in detail. You can certainly pause and read if you would like to. But I haven't spoiled anything. There's no gradings here. There's no rankings marked out just yet. Just some general stuff that we're going to go over and go into. And honestly, just some fun stuff that you guys have made. I'm really happy with how we're doing so far. One of the first things that I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look for you guys and with you guys at some of our more popular stuff. Because I was always very interested in like, what are people really going to watch all that much of? And, well, I guess we know now, right? It's a thing that we can do. Because I have overall, like, most popular stuff. And there's quite a bit of that. So I'm going to go through that. I'm going to go through what we are looking for in terms of, like, quality or what you guys liked in terms of content. One of the main things is going back and seeing some of these old videos. So I wanted to not necessarily, like, sit and watch along with you guys, but I wanted to watch a couple minutes of that and just because I don't always watch my own stuff. So I wanted to know what you guys maybe were thinking about it, and if there's any videos that you guys were happening to watch at times. Oh goodness, is the stream doing all right? I hope it is. Current bitrate. Open widget, please. Good? Yeah, we're fine. Stream's fine. Stream is fine. Good connection. Alrighty. So I think, normally I would start with the first one. I will say that this is, again, our anniversary. The Lasgun video came out on 11/02/1, so it came out November 2nd, which was really I would say the start of our series, or the start of the channel, arguably. It wasn't necessarily the only thing we put out. Obviously, there's maybe 60, 70 videos before that, but that was not really the start of the channel. Most of our good stuff comes from significantly after that. A good portion of it comes from just the last couple months. So one of the main things I wanted to watch is what is our most popular video, right? Like, what is the thing that people have watched the most? And I believe, if I remember right, that was not top videos in terms of last 365 days, so in the last year. Views, the most viewed I've ever had, and by the way, 1.5 million impressions, that's pretty damn good. The most views I've ever had on a video in one day was basically the admonition video, but the most that I've ever had over time is actually autoguns. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this for a little bit. It's great video. Just gonna skip through it for a bit, but hello, welcome. I'm just quickly going through some of our first stuff that we've done. I don't know how well is it coming through. Ah, it is coming through. I'm coming over it though. Oh, you're all good. No problems there. See, this is one of the things that I hated about the early one, is I didn't change the color of the damn text on these early videos. Also, I love this Space AK, but for the life of me, I don't know what a lot of these things are for. I mean, yeah, it's all steel and everything, but it's just interesting. Wish I had changed these. Some of these I might re-upload. I don't know how people feel about that, but yeah, we're doing a little retrospective first for those of you who just came in. Over the channel, some things that I wanted to watch again to go over with you guys and see, like, hey, what have we watched, what haven't we watched? This is our most viewed video ever, with 1.8K, which, considering there's only 673 of you, which, by the way, is insane, 673. We got 2 subscribers while I was literally sitting here making the end of this video. Yeah, Mythos. See, I spend so much fucking time on the first slide. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I spend more time on the first 2 or 3 slides of every video than I spend on the entire rest of the presentation. Even if the rest of the presentation is like 20 slides, I spend 40 minutes of the hour on the first slide. Yeah, it is not. It's not represented, and I guess, you know, I cater to that little niche. What else did I do here? Oh, damn. See, that's not an autogun. I don't know why I just grabbed a random picture of, like, a bolt-action rifle from Steampunk. That's just not a real 40k weapon. This gentleman's awesome, though. I talk about his gun, but it's just, what the fuck is that? Like, it looks like a rotary grenade launcher, but it's clearly not. It's supposed to be like a big-bore revolver. Combination thereof. Goddamn. See, I need to make fun of myself more, because this is a ridiculous amount of pomp for a video about fucking guns. Can you guys hear it all right? I just want to make sure. I can turn it up a little bit. How about that?
Kinetic has some disadvantages, some advantages.
That way I can pause it so it's a little bit less loud than I am.
That las guns are just objectively
oh, you're all good.
In terms of their performance.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's the whole section is just on weight, which is just ridiculous. God. See, this is the thing, like, I feel like a lot of people come to the channel and they see older videos like this and they're like, ah, cool, that was a video that existed, let's just move on. But it's like, I could re-upload this, and I bet you I couldn't recapture the magic. So, we'll see.
Switches between pistols and rifles and what you're using, but in general, autoguns are going to be heavier than modern-day firearms. And finally, we get the standards. The standards for the autogun are as various as the standards for any modern weapon in the modern day. If you have a planet that produces a carbine, for example, they aren't just going to produce the carbine. They're going to produce...
Notice the drunk idiot switches from carbine to carbine. Why? Because he's absolutely wasted.
Carbine, obviously, and then they're going to produce a pistol variant. And then they're going to produce a sniper's rifle. And this is for a planet that has the capacity to make arms and a reason to arm themselves. Most often you will see this on planets like AX Cardinal, who have a...
Yeah, Czech prototypes are great. Let me see, what else? Yeah, okay, see, this is the other thing. I hadn't gotten the standard organization down yet for the videos, so look how just fucked it is. Like, it almost looks, Uncanny Valley, because there's so much white. And all of the stuff. Well, yeah, drunk adds a bit of charm. Wonder why I'm drinking right now. Well, it's in celebration, of course, of our anniversary. That's why I'm drunk, for sure. So, It's so white. There's so much space. I mean, even just look at like how much has changed for this. The text has gone up. The images have gone down because I'm not nitpicking every single image like I'm trying to prove something here. I'm just actually more comfortable with talking. And with actually making the material correct. Look, here I have 3 things, and then I talk for 20 minutes.
Even in its base configuration,
Yes, it's correct for a weekday evening.
so much more variety and to a degree customization than the lasgun. While the lasgun can be specialized into a an armor penetrating weapon, or light armor penetrating weapon, I should say, a siege breaking weapon in terms of the hell gun or the hotshot lasgun.
Love how I call it a siege breaking weapon. Like, dude, just because you turn corners and kill motherfuckers does not mean that it's a siege breaker weapon. Get your fucking facts straight. Also, quite funny that I refer to the autogun as customizable or specializable. It's not really customizable. In fact, it's usually a very solid state weapon. Like, there's not many modifications that can be done aftermarket. It's not designed for that. Whereas lasguns can be modular, especially with the M36 Galaxy. So I'm not necessarily right there. It's just I used the wrong phrase.
Sniper rifle, that's really kind of where the modifications end. Putting a forward grip on a lasgun is pretty much unheard of. I've never seen it personally.
That is true, though. There are very few forward grips on lasguns for some fucking reason. Probably because of recoil. But even with recoil, I would think that having a forward grip would be more helpful than not. Oh, caseless ammo. I forgot I talked about this.
Caseless ammunition.
Oh, nothing. We're literally just doing a channel retrospective on some videos that I made a long time ago. This is our most viewed one. Autoguns. Welcome back, buddy.
And take caseless. And you will have weapons that only do caseless or only do cased. Autoguns tend to be hit or miss with this. Especially the military ones. It's very difficult to tell from the lore and from the evidence that we have whether they're caseless. Some lore says all autoguns are caseless, but we've seen, many, many, many times that authors just go over this. Myself,
I'm almost entirely banking on the animation film here. Like, it's such an interesting thing. The caseless argument wouldn't make sense in an area where, like, 40k fanfiction didn't exist. Or 40k, like, black library authorists who didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Yeah, no, the laser heat is not gonna, like a forward grip here. I get what you mean. Yeah, if it was, like, forward, like, up on the barrel. But the thing is, most lasguns have a shrouded barrel. Like, at least 3/4 of the way down. I would assume that that's for heat radiation, because a lot of unsheathed barrels have radiating and cooling loops. Like the Ryza pattern and, like, the Lucius pattern. So I would imagine that casing is for heat dissipation. But yeah, I don't think that a forward grip would damage you in terms of, like, getting burnt.
personally, I think it's...
Maybe if it was like a hell gun, but you'd have to put it in a really stupid spot to do that.
rather silly to consider every single one of these weapons caseless, because that was how things were. Why would heavy stubbers not be caseless? Heavy stubbers are almost never, portrayed as having uncased ammunition.
The easy answer to my dumbass question is, motherfucker, heavy stubbers are belt-fed, and belt-fed caseless ammo is redundant. So, again, I still believe that 40k autoguns are usually going to use cased ammo, but caseless ammo does exist for them. But I think this argument about the heavy stubber is a little bit unreasonable, in my opinion.
And the advantage of caseless
My opinion, which has changed from my opinion, which you're listening to.
ammo really doesn't
Not too
matter
much,
to
though.
the
I'm
auto.
still of the
The fact that
opinion.
it's lighter, the fact that you can carry more of it, this isn't usually a military
Oh, yeah, no.
weapon that's
I do not have mainstream appeal. Like, that is 100% true. That's kind of the point. I mean, arguably, that's the point. Alright, fuck this. Okay, again, when it comes to caseless versus cased, I think that they used cased and caseless. And you could make a case. You could make a case for caseless heavy stubbers, but, whatever. Oh, I'm drinking out of a mason jar. I can hear it on the recording. God, why do people watch me? I can't believe this has 1.8k views, and there's a fucking 10-second blip of me drinking, like, whiskey out of a mason jar.
industrial techniques, they will produce firearms for sale, either to the civilian populace or off-world. So, advantage, standard materials. Standard
Jesus Christ, that's so fucked. Okay, God, okay, enough of that. Oh my God. Is there anything more reasonable down here? Uses, importance, and logistics. Please be good. No, okay, see, again, just fucking 2 things in a picture. What a shit-ass visual. I could not imagine watching this for like 15 minutes. Oh my God.
They will use
It gets better. This is a Gen 1 video. It's fine. It gets better.
being equivalent to the
I promise. Only partially better, but at least somewhat better.
Having decent sights and accuracy, that will all be in the realm of the PDF.
Also, by the way, I'd like to point out something about the Necromundans here. Specifically, I believe it's House Escher, right? The ladies. Yeah. For all that they say that they sexualize girl armor, I'm sorry. Bertha here, that's a pretty solidly made breastplate. Like, I don't think that that's all that terrible. The straight up, like, bikini armor, less so, but, like, this is acceptable, in my opinion.
And they use them very well. They use
Oh yeah, definitely a high-end boutique thing. That's why I said, like, it makes a difference whether it's a military firearm, or a civilian-to-market, or a military-to-civilian firearm.
them to defend themselves, and there's all types of things that they are great for.
You're very right. So, with that said, with the idea of sacrificing the first few to make the next ones better, let's get the fuck off of autoguns. Cause by the way, lasguns only has 1.2k, which I love, because that means that autoguns did get more love. But what's even more hilarious than that, you want to know what the all-time best fucking seller is? The all-time bestseller, by the way, yeah, welcome to the channel content. The all-time bestseller in terms of views, well, one of the all-time bestsellers that I didn't expect to, is the autocannon, which we're going to make sure that doesn't just autoplay, and then Chaos Logistics, which Chaos Logistics I would consider a Gen 2 video. It's not quite Gen 3, I don't have my new mic yet, but Admonition is awesome, and it is also a relatively good video in terms of viewership. People really, really liked the Analyzing Admonition video. Details? I'm going to open it up. Alright, so we have here Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, right? We have Gen 1, which is great. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what this is supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be celebrating a year of progress. I mean, it is progress of a sort. Oh, God, it's so bad. See, like, people ask me, oh, do you go back and listen to yourself? Fuck no, I don't go back and listen to myself. Are you crazy? That's not only, like, mildly narcissistic, that's also just weird. I don't want to hear myself from a year ago. Yeah, fuckboy Astartes are fine. Yeah, Sanguinius, Fulgrim, Corvus. I don't know if I don't consider Corvus a fuckboy. He's a dirty e-boy, which filth. Is, you know. God, I was gonna say Fulgrim femboy, but that is correct. I need to stop drinking and talking. All right, so let's get back. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think the autocannon video is better than the autogun video. I don't have a favorite, by the way. I know a lot of people ask me, like, what's your favorite? I have 2, and I'll show you them in a bit, but they are, like, absolutely some of my favorites. So, but let's look at a Gen 1 that I think didn't get enough love. It got lots of love, but not enough, in my opinion, which is the autocannon.
It's the actual intent of what the autocannon is, and more just some simple misunderstandings about what is and what is not an autocannon. So, in general, you will have 3 different types.
There's a very good reason why I have 2. I will go into it in a minute, but there's a very good reason why I have 2 favorites. And it has entirely to do with the narrative I was creating at the time and how it consistently goes through and uses things from other videos. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, because it's choices that not a lot of other people would pick. I'm willing to bet you a lot of money that nobody would pick what I'm about to pick as my favorite.
Types of these. You have support, which are more the Imperial Guard and really just the human standard. The support weapons have tripods. They're equipped with multiple person crews in order to keep them equipped, reloaded, and effectively running. Personal autocannons are really restricted to Space Marines. And this is one of the videos where we will be talking about...
That's not true, by the way. I was saying typically, that doesn't mean that all autocannons that are used by one person belong to Space Marines. There are lots of humans who can use autocannons. There are also autocannons that can be specifically used by humans alone. I'd like to emphasize that. Anyone who says that a human can't use a heavy bolter or an autocannon alone is wrong. You're just not using the right heavy bolter / autocannon. And if it's a heavy bolter, you kind of have to be a little more careful, but you'll see what I mean.
Space Marines a whole lot more than we'll be talking about the average Imperial Guardsman, because in terms of...
Also, I just want to take a second. Look at the fucking cringe-ass, like, description. Moving on, marching ever onward with the rat-a-tat-tat, the autocannon. God damn, I'm like a fucking summer camp counselor. Blech.
Defense and use, the Space Marine is going to get a good deal...
I just hadn't figured out how to do descriptions yet, because like 30 people had watched.
Imperial Guardsman, because he and his buddies are going to have to haul it around. So, as an individual or personnel weapon, it is pretty much unique.
Okay, we're moving on. Skip, you fuck. Move, go faster.
The human version will have roughly a 20 to 22.
Okay, yeah, this is what I was talking about in terms of like shit that I think is important.
Likely going to require that it stays attached to a wheeled carriage while it moves, or in the absolute lightest versions, they are carried by larger teams and are pretty much impossible to fire from the hip. As far as I know, outside of Space Marines and Terminators, there are very few living beings that use the autocannon at all from a standing position.
Again, there's ways you can do it. I have learned. I have become enlightened. There are ways to do it. One, you get something of a relatively low caliber, like 15 millimeter, that would really be a heavy machine gun. Two, you fire it with your feet. And I'll explain to you how that works in a minute, because it's how Dante used to fire his heavy machine gun. We'll get into that. I had an MG-131, which is a 15 millimeter machine gun, but basically it acts like an autocannon. You put 2 foot pads around the muzzle device, you lay on your back, you stick your feet up in the air, and you fire it like you're firing an AA mount. So you can do it, it's just a little awkward.
In general, they are fired from a squat, much like the Kriegsman's models are shown, or they are fired from belly down in a defensive capability where they are mounted. So, much heavier than heavy stubber, and in terms of ammunition, they are more on par.
Also, I can't believe I did beauty, form factor, and training. What the fuck does that mean? To this day, I couldn't tell you what beauty, form factor, and training are supposed to mean. I'm pretty sure it was just an opportunity for me to gush about the artwork, because the hell, that was practically half of my content was just, oh, look at the pretty art! Look at the pretty visuals!
Of sheer damage and caliber with bolt guns and heavy bolters. As we will talk about, the heavy bolter having somewhere between a 35 and 37 millimeter bolt.
I was wrong, but I was close.
And the bolt guns having either the human version will have roughly a 20 to 20.
Yes, you must assume the position to use the gun, correct.
2 millimeter round, and the bolt gun having a 25 to 26.5 millimeter round.
26.5, this fucking nerd. 26.5. See, it's still gonna be like 5 months until I do the armor penetration video, so all these numbers are just coming out of my fucking head.
In terms of what an infantryman could expect to find, he will find an autocannon that is somewhere between the ranges of 15...
Nerd! Yes, very much so. Yeah.
35 is really...
So yeah, in this I go into the baseline of what an autocannon's like size is. Like, this is a light autocannon, this is a medium autocannon, this is a heavy autocannon. And it's like, okay, yeah, buddy, sure, those are definitely not subjective at all, for sure. This is also what I mean. Look at this. I spent 30 fucking minutes on this one slide. God damn.
Still.
Yeah, variable size. Small, 15 to 23. Ooh, medium, 24 to 40. Large, 41 to 90. Shut the fuck up, dude. You literally. Why is there a cutoff at 40, huh? Is it just because you want to include the Bofors in the medium autocannon size? Huh? Is that why? Yeah, of course that's why. God damn, it's so stupid.
Being used on the offensive side of things. And of course,
I don't disagree with it, but like at the same time, I'm saying this demonstrably, like these categories actually exist. I mean, they do now, because I made the video, but before that, I was so confident in my statements, regardless of whether or not I was right.
level of things, you get to go with up 10 millimeters. So a Terminator lugging around an absolutely massive 35 millimeter semi-automatic autocannon.
Yeah, see, that was the other thing. I was making lots of references to Edge of Night, which is my Warhammer Night Lords fanfic. I wrote it while I was making this video, or I finished the first one and got to the second one. Edge of Night is pretty much based, the first one, around one of these main characters who has a autocannon, and I wanted to prove that medium caliber autocannons could deal with Marines. Because this is literally me self-justifying that my story was accurate. Just to give you a little insight into what the fuck I was talking about, I was trying to make the point that a 35 millimeter autocannon could penetrate the 60 millimeters of Marine armor at the gut and at the arms and legs. Yes, I write fanfic. You probably will never find it unless you do, in which case, please don't embarrass me. Be kind.
With another arm and then using it like a Devastator it's just very interesting to me. I love that concept. You see it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, you fucking nerd.
It's generally Chaos Terminators.
So, okay, hold up. Taking what I just said into account, listen to what I'm saying here.
It becomes capable of being used on
I'm talking about the 35 millimeter autocannon.
Marines will use either the very high end of small, if they're a normal Marine or a Devastator or something like that, they'll use something between 23 and 25 millimeters. So somewhere in that heavy small or light medium range. Still infantry portable, but with a Marine, it becomes capable of being used on the offensive side of things. And of course, at the Terminator level of things, you get to go with up 10 millimeters. So a Terminator lugging around an absolutely massive 35 millimeter, semi-automatic autocannon, bracing it with another arm, and then using it like a Devastator it's just very interesting to me. I love that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is very interesting. Oh no, I've sent it to you multiple times, yeah. I'm sure it is interesting to you, Mr. High Dragon's Breath. Why might it be interesting to you? Is it perhaps because one of the characters in your story is doing exactly what you're describing? I'm sure it is very interesting to you, sir. I wonder fucking why. Yeah, it's on the Discord server as well. God damn it, yeah, it is. Do you guys have the first book or the second one? I think you have Edge of Night. Edge of Night is the first one. But yeah, Savadon is literally who I'm referring to. Like, I'm doing it subtly. I think it's subtle. From my perspective, 2 years ago, I thought it was subtle. It's not. Or a year ago. It's not. It's fucking obvious to anyone who's read the book that I'm talking about Savadon.
That concept. You see it occasionally with Marines that are in, it's generally Chaos Terminators.
You see it with Marines on occasion. It's generally Chaos Terminators, though. I wonder why he said that. I wonder what was going on in his head when he said it was mostly Chaos Terminators. God damn it.
The other Chaos group that uses them are the Dreadnoughts.
Dude, my whole channel is self-justification. This is... Without you guys, this would just be a schizo self-rant of me trying to articulate why 40k needs to make sense before I lose my fucking mind. This entire channel is self-justification. You have to understand. I'm doing this for you guys at this point, but 2 days into it on November 4th of 2024, I wasn't doing it for you guys. I was doing it so my schizo ramblings wouldn't just be bouncing around in my head. I was doing it so I could get that shit out and to a public eye that could either approve or disapprove of my theories.
Occasionally you will find
It's not gratification. I'm not gratified, but I am justified by the fact that people actually conform to my schizopsychosis.
Venerable Dreadnought, equipped with either a saw blade and 35mm single barrel, or a single arm.
Honestly, also, by the way, when I talk about single-barreled 35mm, I have now come to the conclusion that most dreadnoughts could actually take a two-barreled 40mm. So, straight up, like that is 2 tank cannons from World War II. I mean, like semi-auto or slow automatic, but still, dreadnoughts can carry a lot more fucking punch on them than I originally thought they could. They're really brutal. I mean, if we're talking about smaller ones, like Contemptors, those might not have the ability to take a double-barreled 40mm, but the fucking Castaferum, they absolutely can.
Blade and a 35mm single barrel, which
I was referring to Hellbrutes. That was why I was trying to make a reference to Hellbrutes, and probably nobody got it, but that was my point. So that was dumb. My God, I haven't even gone to the next. Okay, finally got to the next fucking slide.
For those kind of semi-automatic, gravity-fed, or some sort of.
See, but look how long I took on that. For real. Let me just point out. 22 minutes. I started that slide. 22 minutes. I was on that until 44. So I spent 22 fucking minutes on that slide with about 6 words on it. God, how did anyone watch this shit?
Mechanicus complexity just to make a autocannon that goes bang, just to make one in the first place.
Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's my point. I'm saying that Castaferum could. Yeah, they need to get out with all due violence. 100% true. Yeah, God. Okay, see, some of these, especially the Heresy ones, are so fucking clean. The Heresy era assault cannons and autocannons, God, to this day, they are just delicious. Such beautiful lines. They look so nice. The recoil and the heat dampeners and the dissipation, the size of the barrels in comparison to the caliber, the feed trays and the expo trays. God, they knew what they were fucking doing. It looks so beautiful, even in retrospect.
It's going to be from a Forge world. In general, everything else got to be from a Forge world. Or an industrial world that makes autocannons. There are plenty.
You could have just said a Manufactorum, you fucking idiot.
Of them, because there's lots of autocannon patterns, but in general, I pick out 3 different types.
Ooh.
Heavy are just heavy weapons. They're designed to move either on a vehicle or on
Oh, it's so fucking stupid. I feel the need to clarify and classify so that people won't grill me over the caliber.
Though on tanks it also counts as well. Baneblade, for example, has several different types of autocannon. Offensive and defensive. On the offensive side of things, I put weapons that Space Marines tend to use. So the rotor cannon or the assault cannon, questionable whether the assault cannon belongs in the autocannon category or the bolt weapon category, because while they say it uses bolt rounds in some of the lore, it doesn't seem that it does, and it's used to replace the rotor cannon, which is definitely not a bolt weapon.
Okay. Apart from that argument, which I am about to fucking rip myself a new asshole for, I had no balls when I was making this video. I should have made the statement straight up about the rotor cannon and the assault cannon that I wanted to make. I just didn't feel confident at the time, but I am now confident. I have some liquid courage in me. But in response to your question, am I being mean to myself? No, I am not being mean to myself. I am proud of this video. For all that I said funny, stupid things, I am fucking proud of this video. And I'm proud of the autogun video. I'm proud of all of it. The difference is, I now have you guys, essentially. The difference is that I'm trying to be honest with you about what these videos are about and were about. Like, the whole thing is, I was trying to be a showman, and I still kind of am. I'm trying to entertain, obviously, but I thought then that I had to be very, very showmanship, very much making up for all the flaws in my audio, in my understanding, in my visuals, in my technical skill. And I went very over the top, trying to not upset anyone, especially in these videos. Like, for instance, with the rotor cannon and the assault cannon, I tried to make it a gray area as to whether or not I considered it an autocannon. In reality, I don't. I don't consider it a bolt weapon either. I consider it its complete own class of weapon. But I didn't want to say that because I thought it might upset people. So while I was watching these, I'm coming back now to really be honest with you guys, since it's been a year, and I can come out and say in a live stream, hey, there's some shit that I did wrong. There's some shit that I don't agree with in my older videos that I've maybe either come to a different conclusion, or perhaps just on that day I was on a fucking tear and I want to change my mind. And sometimes I might even be wrong. Nowadays, I might be wrong. Old me might have had a better idea than new me. So no, I'm not being mean to myself. I'm being honest with you. So I'm trying to clear the air a bit, because we've been here for a year. You guys have been devoted beyond belief. We've only lost like one person from this entire channel that I really miss. And we've gained an insane amount of both traction and follow-up from you guys. So my community has really been built up around me, to my absolute shock and surprise. And this is just more evidence of me being like, okay, let me clear the air here and be real about what I am doing and what I was doing at the time, so that you guys don't get the wrong idea. Because when people go back and they see the old videos and they either do want to watch it or they don't want to watch it, they might see it and be like, well, that's different, or that's odd, or that's off. He doesn't sound the same. He doesn't look the same. The videos don't look the same. I was different because I wasn't thinking correctly. I wasn't thinking that I'm doing this for you guys. I was thinking I'm doing this for me. So understand, I'm not being mean to myself. I'm trying to be honest with you guys. Yeah, the mic difference is very fucking different. I have my old headphones on me right now, but these aren't actually the ones that I used to record this. I had a completely different mic setup back then. I had a much worse, falling apart pair of headphones that I was recording into by covering my mouth and speaking into like my cupped hands almost. Not exactly, but it was like it had to be right in front of my mouth, and it was picking up every single like mini microsyllable or movement of my tongue. I couldn't drink, I couldn't mute it. It was shit. Now I have a nice Electo Wave 3 mic, which I love. It's wonderful. And it can actually mute, which is nice, because God knows I don't want to just constantly be on mic.
Because it's been around since before bolt weapons were really a thing. So I am on the side that the rotor cannon and the assault cannon are auto cannons, like a minigun from our modern...
I've also, by the way, learned to drink without making noise. So that has been a very impressive improvement, that you no longer have to hear me drinking. Speaking of embarrassing fucking gaffes, I need to show you the sisters video, my one and only sisters video, because there was some shit going on in that video in the background that I don't know if everyone noticed, but I got some comments on it, and I want to clarify something real quick.
Modern day, rather than, high caliber, but still like a minigun from our modern day, rather than a bolt weapon.
Yeah, see, just absolute pussy shit. I should have just declared it not an autocannon nor a bolt weapon. What a bitch.
The Dorado Dreadnought, I believe he is, the Deradeo, excuse me. 2 heavy bolters in the chest, 4 Aegis autocannons. He's doing a whole lot here, I'm sure. Our lovely Chaos Venerable Dreadnought, remember how I said that these will often have a single barrel 35, or in this case, 2 30s or 2 25s.
See, this is exactly what I mean. What a bitch. I went back on what I said by saying that rather than having 1 barrel, he has 2, because I realized I was wrong. Mid-video, no editing, no chance to go back and fix it myself. I just go, it could have 2, it could have 2. Just let a fucking bitch. Just come out and say you were fucking wrong. Just come out and say you read it wrong. Dipshit. I should have just... Yeah, okay. Yeah, honestly, the Vendreads... God, the Night Lord Vendread is so nice. I have 2... Or no, I have... God, I need another Night Lord Dreadnought so bad. I have one nice Leviathan Night Lord Dreadnought. I refer to it as Sevatar for obvious reasons. Because my list is based around the return of Conrad Kurz. So it's got Sevatar as a Dreadnought. It's got the Atramentar. It's got a whole bunch of cool stuff. But I really need one of these Vendreads from Forge World. I will get one soon. I can't do painting videos, but I might be able to show you guys stuff, at least on the Discord. But yeah, you have a fair point. Those are fucking great models.
Fives with a saw mechanical ones, like the ones on knights. And, you know, I don't have to feel as impotent with my little autogun trying to shoot into the weak spots of their armor, or shoot their face, or like go for their throat or groin, or hit them in the stomach with my, you know.
Hey Tuna, you didn't miss anything. We're doing a channel retrospective on things that I did wrong.
My like 5 rounds of specialty ammo that I have as a cultist. I could have a real weapon that can actually...
Oh yeah, this is also when I was fucking obsessed with the idea of cultists having like AP plus ammo. Does anyone remember that? God, that was a long time ago. I was like, every cultist walks around with like a 5 clip or a stripper clip of armor-piercing green tip 5.56. I don't know when I got out of that kick. It was correct. I'm not saying I was wrong, but I am saying that, fuck, I stopped, like, harping on that train a while ago, didn't I? This is the first time that I've heard it in a while. Damn, this is an old video.
Actually do some damage to these horrifying monsters that I'm facing. And I think that really gives them a lot of confidence around the autocannon that they don't have around weapons that require more maintenance, more logistics, or are harder to produce, like the heavy bolter. Even as common as the heavy bolter is, if I were a chaos cultist, I would choose the autocannon because I'm likely to have more and better quality and more, you know, choice rounds. Heavy bolter, I'm probably not going to get the super special ammo that the Death Watch use. If I'm a cultist, I'm probably going to get a bunch of standard rounds.
I actually have a question for you guys. Does anyone know if the heavy bolters used by the Death Watch have specialty ammo? I know that their bolters have special ammo, but is anyone a Death Watch fan here and can tell me if their heavy bolters have similar, like, not like special, like Kraken rounds, but like weird rounds, like abnormal rounds? Does anyone know? I don't actually know for myself, and I have a couple of friends who I know that are big Death Watch fans, but they're not here in the chat right now. So, if somebody wants to ask, my buddy is on the server. It's Sparty. He will know whether or not their heavy bolters have special rounds, but I don't know. So if anybody knows that, please let me know, because I don't. Alright. It's mentioned in some of the Death Watch books. Good. Yeah, I was hoping it would be like something, because, yeah, it would make sense to me. But you guys get the idea, right? That's Gen fucking 1. That's Gen 1. That's the original stuff. That's what I kind of made a lot of my basic bread and butter on. Arguably, it is the majority of my channel. It is basic, it is without clarification, justification, or I would argue too much research. I mean, I did an extensive amount of research. Hellfire bolts, special ammo for all bolt gear. Okay, good. Okay, at least as long as we know it applies to all. This is Gen 1. Gen 1's pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie, I still enjoy some of these videos, but not many. Definitely the auto. Goddamn. Okay, yeah, you guys are. Oh, God, I love you all. Things to mention the Death Watch books. Pretty sure Death Watch in general have special ammo for all their bolt gear. Only special bolter round I can recall is Hellfire bolts. Yes, full of acid, mutagenic acid for melting Tyranids. Since scale up special ammo round, logical for the lore. Name one thing that you did that was incorrect, saying the AdMech couldn't beat the Imperium. Well, of course, we all know as well. Thank you, Guntuna. Your propaganda has been noted. You want to know how? Because you're first in the fucking homebrew tier list. We'll get to that in a minute. Sorry for flashbanging the fuck out of you with my tier list. You know, my big tier list. So, let's get on to Gen 2. Gen 2 has basically been in the last couple of months. Starting in, like, early July. And it started really with this. This was the first video that YouTube graced with an insane amount of instantaneous love. Like, there have been several videos in the series that I've made that have inexplicably jumped to 1,000 views overnight. And I mean overnight. Chaos Logistics went from 0 to 500 in less than 6 hours, which I can only imagine has to do with YouTube's algorithm basically favoring it and pushing it to people's For You pages, which is nice because it happens periodically. The same thing happened with Dark Tide's Analyzing Admonition. Yeah, this one for sure, but there are other ones as well.
Good morning.
Chaos Logi was such a fun video to make. But
Logistics.
okay, you can see the upgrade, right? Not only is the audio slightly better, but you can see I've started to go left side for the writing, right side for the images, and then more than one image per slide. And as everybody knows, I do use slideshows for this, mostly because I don't like editing software. I think slideshows are much more dynamic as far as like allowing me to go back and forth to what I want to show. And since this is informational rather than like entertainment, I mean, it can still be entertainment, but I think it's more about the information. But yeah, there's an improvement here amongst this one, not just in the audio case.
The most superficial, the most basic, and there is a reason why. The reason why you don't go into details with Chaos is because it's very difficult to explain things away. For example, Chaos has very large numbers. Yes, tens of millions of cultists on a single
Do I talk about Vashtor in this one? I might.
planet may all be armed and ready for action as per a Chaos cult or even a warband on occasion. Where do they get those weapons? Where do they get those equipment? We very rarely get to know. And Chaos...
We very rarely get to know. I'm about to tell you. Yeah. See, this is also when I started making, like, parentheticals. So I would ask, the Chaos provides theory. What does it mean? The traders and dark forges. Like, I would start to put... because I don't have a script. I hope you guys know I do not script these videos at all. Pretty much intentionally. The whole goal of not scripting a video is to make my reaction and to make my brain function in pressure. I know I'm being recorded. I know people are going to watch this. I know that they really want to see something out of it, and so I will leave little, like, member berries, like little, oh, remember this, remember that, remember this theory, remember this concept, remember this word, remember to emphasize this or that. I will leave it in the video, and that's why I read off of it. So you'll notice I'll read a heading, and then my brain will quickly process, and I will begin to discuss it. Not because I'm reading off a script. I've never had a script for a video ever. I am letting my brain give you my stream of consciousness in response to what I scripted on the slide.
There are certain events that draw the eyes of the gods for an extended period of time. And those are the points where that Chaos provides theory, that might come more in handy. There are unusual coincidences that happen during Black Crusades and during other massive chaotic events that seem a little bit unfair on the side of Chaos, and that is where that Chaos Provide theory comes back in, but those are rare and probably 1 out of a million in terms of Chaos actions in real space.
See, there I am hedging my bets again. Also, I love this image of the Iron Warrior cultist. It's a very nice one. I don't use it enough. This one's another fucking great one. Holy shit, dude. This artist... Let me go to the end and see if I have the artist pinned. I'm at 23 minutes. Yeah, I okay, hold up. I do have him pinned. Okay, one of these guys, I don't remember who it is. A listener KZ, it's the third one, so it's probably David Gallagher. Yeah, it's David Gallagher or Sam Wood. This dude, the dude who makes this type of artwork with this style, Jesus. The man is a fucking machine, and his artwork is so detailed. It sucks that I have to make this a YouTube video that's done through presentation, because I would love to just go over the detail in one of these artworks. They're gorgeous as fuck. Like, I cannot explain to you. I spend a significant amount of my time making these videos trying to find artwork that is expressive enough and detailed enough to show up for you guys so that you can really see and understand what I'm trying to capture of the image. And oh my God, this is such a beautiful image. It has so many uses too. Clearly a Slaneshi Marine. Clearly has all these different modifications. The skin, the icons, the symbol, the gold, the filigree, the ball in his chest that seems to serve no purpose but definitely does, the power sword, the modified bolt gun, the chaotic emblem and or artifact that he has in his hand, the mutilation. It's so good. God, it's so beautiful. I cannot believe that it looks like this. And all the detail, too. Look at all the fake fibrous muscle. Look at all the sections under the arms, the belly plate, the joints of the armor. They're so much more articulated than what we usually get to see. And that's how power armor should look. That's exactly how it should look. It's meant to move like fluid around the creature using it. Not perfectly, but at least to a degree. And fuck, it's so hard when you see the propaganda images and they're smooth and bulky and fat and flat. And I'm like, fuck, man, that does not work. That's not what armor looks like. You should see pleating. You should see sectioning. You should see armor plating, and then what's clearly flexible material. And he just does such a good fucking job of that. It's so pretty. Fuck, there's very few people who do it like that. Yeah. Yeah, I wish GW understood that shit, for real.
Time by Chaos Forces, there will be cultists who belong to X or Y faction. These networks are ancient. They've been around for centuries, in millennia in some cases. Some are even as old as the heresy, but they don't have to.
Some are older than the heresy, I'd like to point out.
To be that old.
Oh, we are... Dude, we've been so fucking blessed. But yeah, honestly, this Logi video, while it was good... Oh, God, look... Okay, again, look how long I spent on this one slide. This is minute 50. I've been on this slide since minute 20. I spent a half an hour on this slide alone. That is ridiculous. God, these videos are so long. This is why I should live stream. Fuck.
As a cult, no matter what planet you're on, no matter what situation you're in, you have time. You only get stronger with time.
Oh, by the way, important thing. I try not to swear in the little videos. I am cool being as foul-mouthed as I need to in the streams. If anybody really dislikes that, think I should clean up, I'm cool with that as well, but, you know, make your opinion known, and I'll be happy to do so. But, like, especially for these, I don't see... Yeah, the length. Yeah, it's important. People like to use it as background noise, which, honestly, is kind of my intention. I would be a little bit, not weirded out, but I would be a little bit concerned about my own performance if somebody watched it visually on the screen for the full hour and a half. Like, that's a lot of time to devote to listening to me and reading from a slideshow. I understand it. Like, that's really kind of you. Like, honestly, it's more of a compliment than anything. But still, I'd be a little concerned.
Very rarely do cults get weaker over time when there is no external pressure. Even if you're on a planet that is blockaded by the Imperial Navy, for example, this is often the case.
Oh no, you're 100% right. I could tell you something really funny about the trends on my video's comments. It went from, I watch your stuff in the background, I watch your stuff while I'm painting, this is great music for my commute. And it is slowly transferred into, good job, more, I want more for my commute, or good job, I want more so that I can listen while I'm at work. And I'm like, am I distracting you guys from, like, real life activities? I don't want to be like, I don't want to get you in trouble if you're, like, in school or at work and you're listening to my videos. I would hate to be the reason why you got fired or sent to detention, depending on how old you are.
A Chaos Cult will succeed in taking over a planet, and they will solidify their control of the world. Then,
oh, the Vraxians got almost all of their shit from underground storage. They cheated by basically taking over an armory world. Armory worlds basically have the gear for about 10 fucking regiments. So the Vraxians got their shit ready-made and on the cheap. That's why they had all their fancy stuff.
the Imperium hears about it, or they have heard about it, and they send the Navy. The Navy cannot take over a planet by itself, and most planets are not permitted to just be bombarded from orbit for very logical reasons. Or it's not feasible to bombard them from orbit for the same reason that
It's very interesting. How I treat orbital bombardment is so different from how most fans see it. Both for the reason that I have, minimization and diversification amongst my theories, but also for the idea that most people don't understand the scale of the Imperial Navy as opposed to the scale of an Imperial planet. Now, that's not a negative reflection on most people. GW goes out of their way to obfuscate how many Navy ships there are in any given sector, but they also portray orbital bombardment as some sort of be-all, end-all, like it's, like it is, how do you say? Like it is some sort of exterminatus. It's not. It absolutely isn't. Now, full orbital bombardment with multiple capital ships, that can be a form of exterminatus, as we've gone over in the exterminatus video and the orbital bombardment video, but it's not the same thing. There is a difference.
I talked about with exterminatus and why that isn't used all that much. So, as a cult...
Hey, if you liked Vrax and Badab, highly recommend the Gaunt's Ghost series, specifically because there's some really cool chaos stuff in there.
Barring any logistical issues that you yourself have, or any mental issues...
Like my sons, the Blood Pact.
...you may have, you probably have a set period of time before a crusade or a combat-level force is geared up that's actually able to fight you. Now, on one side, this gives you a massive advantage in that the Imperials are no longer interfering with you. You can operate as freely and take as much as you want. But it also means you have to deal with the limitations of now being cut off from the Imperial network. Food, water, oxygen, equipment, raw materials, all of these things are not necessarily easily available to every single planet in the Imperium, because that's what the Imperial Tithe is for.
Yeah, see, Wallflower, you've literally experienced my definition of an Imperial siege. You understand what it means to be under attack by the Imperium of Man. It's fucking rough, but it's not as bad as GW likes to make it out. It's a very, very different situation when you're in the way of a crusade, which you will eventually be. So we'll see that when it comes, but for the moment, let's finish this off and go to Gen 3, shall we?
While I say don't rely on it, don't use it as a cop-out, don't use it as a primary, don't say that it's gangers, don't say that it's demons, don't say that it's God, don't cop out. Be specific. Be reliable with this. And by the way, someone did also mention gangs. Gangs are very similar with refurbishment and theft. They're going to be essentially supplying you a lot of the same gear and equipment that those police would be. So that gang supply network for cultists is a lot less numerous on most worlds. Though there are some that begin as gangs and then begin procuring weapons the way that I had mentioned.
See, I got critique from this. People kept commenting about gangs, and I was like, I had better talk about it. And as much as I do respect the concept of gang warfare within the Imperium, I think people's minds have been a little bit tainted by Necromunda, because they assume that most hives are somewhat like Necromunda. Necromunda is incredibly unique. Like, I can't even begin to explain to you how different Necromunda is from a normal, well-run hive. So I felt like going out of my way to explain it. But that's enough of this fucking video. Let's look at Gen 3. The opening sound, which I've started to make a very important part of my videos. By the way, does anyone have an opinion about, like, the opening and closing sound? So the opening is this.
Goo.
And then the closing is this. This one took a little bit of extra time, but I was glad to get it out to you. I am super happy that I got it finished. And with that said, I will wish you all a lovely good night. I doubt anyone has heard the actual outro, because God knows I wouldn't listen to my whole video either. But does anyone have an opinion as to, like, starting with music and ending with music? It is royalty-free shit, but I just wanted to know if anyone cared. We'll be looking at both halves of the Atoma Prime cult in Hive Tertium. We'll be going over some general arms, some armor, nice touches, aesthetics, and some lore and battle tech. No, that's entirely reasonable. Like, that's the thing. I didn't like starting with just my voice for two reasons. One, because I would breathe in deep and I would start with like a little verbal hiccup almost every time. Oftentimes because I had taken a drink beforehand and so my lungs were still like coughing up air. And the other reason was because sometimes I would be a little off key and I would need like a second break. So I would start to edit out those sections and then I needed something to replace them with, for which I chose the audio. The other reason is because it sounds almost like a morning alarm, you know? Like, it's supposed to sound like a ding, like your fucking Pop-Tarts are done. So I wanted that to be something that people associated with, like, oh, start of a High Dragons video.
Army review for
Because let's be honest, all of the YouTubers who we listened to growing up, like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, good morning, good mythical morning, good mythical morning, good morning. It was always something. There was some music that they became associated with. And I'm not going to say that I'm trying to Pavlov y'all, but like, it was something that when I was listening to my videos, I would like it to start with something calm and nice, kind of how like an NPR video starts with a little bit of a musical note. So yeah, that was the mentality with it. I can understand if people are like, yeah, I don't like it, but if it's just like, whatever, I'll skip ahead a minute, then that's cool with me. I'm going to keep doing it.
Dark Tide. Specifically, we'll be looking at both halves of the Atoma Prime cult in Hive Tertium. We'll be going over some general arms.
God, listen to the difference in that audio. Listen to that Elgato wave go.
Bottleneck for whatever chaos is present within the area. I say chaos, but it also includes Xenos, those fringe wars, the constant conflict that actually causes the Mobian Six to go crazy. That is what the autonomous domain is meant to keep a lid on. Essentially, they're given a lot of permissions.
God damn, look at all the comments on this. One of my most commented videos.
To other Imperial worlds. Now, is it a completely unique situation? Absolutely not. There are many, many worlds that have this similar semi-autonomous designation. The main thing that I want to harp on with it is that they have access to abnormal...
Thank you, I appreciate the light professionalism.
...normal forms of defense and defense production, and they have a seriously messed up nobility class. Like, they have a very, very strong hierarchical system that prevents a vast majority of people from getting...
See, we don't see any of that in Darktide. We don't, and that's the thing that I love about the game. We don't see the background of why Tertium goes crazy. We don't see the background of why the Mobian Sixth or the Admonition Cult are so successful. It's the planet itself. It's not as if there's some inherent advantage that the Admonition or the Mobian Sixth have. It's the fact that the planetary government is so horribly corrupt and negligent of their population that results in the uprising. Like, that is the whole thing. It is only natural. You can only push people so far into the depths of the Underhive before they rebel. It's such an interesting thing with how Tertium is built up in terms of lore, that there's just such a fucked method of government that this is genuinely not only legitimized, but also completely reasonable. Like, if we ourselves as people were put into the same situation as the Atoma Hive denizens, we would probably do the exact same thing, because it's a fucked up situation.
Any real mobility, and it is a miserable planet, generally. It's also heavily corrupted, which is very interesting, because the way that I describe the Admonition is it is an anti-corruption cult of Nurgle, which sounds like an oxymoron, but it's political corruption that they're going after. The reason that the Hive goes bad, in the opinion of the Admonition at least, not in the opinion of the Nobian Sixth, we may talk about that later, is because of these bad nobles. Essentially, the poor stewardship of the upper classes are what result in the Admonition forming in the shadows, and then eventually their uprising to try and remove the ruling class of Tertium. Now, they do manage to take over basically a majority of Tertium, leaving only certain areas of the upper spire and the upper city really free. But most of the interior and large portions of the Underhive and even the outer skirt of this massive...
There's also some areas in the outer skirt that are controlled by them as well, especially as well by the Inquisition. they requisition some of it.
Specialty las guns or something like that. But hotshot volley guns are pretty up there, like with the Scion level equipment. So a regiment to have that, and we would assume that that's imported, because not only does it match the Cantrell pattern, unless it's supposed to be a local modification, not only does it match the Cantrell pattern, it's also very well made. There's nothing makeshift about these. They are very obviously a purpose-built hotshot volley gun. So I find that to be making more sense as a heavy weapon or a squad weapon for the Mobians, rather than any of the flamers or grenades. A lot of people like to theorize a lot of things, like, oh, maybe the assault. I think due to the Lasmen title, and due to the fact that they also have long las rifles, that their standard equipment before they turn traitor will...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Wallflower. They have that kind of system set up where there's barons and there's cartels and there's sublet government agencies who fuck it up for the rest of the population. Did the Mobians make the three-eyed helmets, or is it a Forge World or manufacturer actually making Marks and Nurgle? So the third eye, the mark there, is actually a targeter. So when we talk about specifically hotshot weapons and hell guns, there's a very common modifications that the Adeptus Inquisition and their Scions use, which is a targeter. Sometimes it's on the side of the helmet, but it would be very easy to modify it to make it in the center of the forehead. What the targeter does is it allows you to fire the weapon and essentially have a heads-up display so that you can always see where the weapon is aimed. It allows you to use a relatively high recoil or difficult-to-aim weapon, like a volley gun, from the hip without having to aim down sights. So it's not a Mark of Nurgle, and it's not an intentional modification. It may be a modification of the Mobian 6 to put it inside of the helmet to give the electronic-specific protection, but it is definitely a targeter, the same kind of thing that the Scions use when they have hotshot volley guns. Most underhives having the same violence as favela or Latin America poor district, less of Necromunda, more of a violent place. I mean, yes, to a degree. I don't know. Look, the big difference here is that Imperial citizens are far less likely to stand up to gangsters because many of the gangsters are from their local area. You're not talking about gangsters who are foreign gangsters or gangsters who are, like, well organized. Remember, there's a lot of competing gangs in 40K. So there won't be one cartel that has control over a huge area like we have maybe the Suns or the Sinaloa cartel in our modern day. The 40K universe won't have that. They will have much more local gangs, which honestly the local people might not have a problem with them. I mean, if you know that a family member or a friend is part of this gang, why would you interfere with their operations? Maybe they bother you occasionally, but usually it's for money and shelter. And for the most part, they protect you from more dangerous people, at least in your opinion. So I could see it being similarly crime-ridden, but I could often see that the local people won't see it that way. You know what I mean? They'll see it as like, oh, that's the local vigilantes or the local watch. They fucking walk dogs and take care of kids while their parents are in jail, that kind of thing.
In a very short period of time. Like, between their uprising, the Mobians arriving, choosing to help them out or at least not stand in their way, they've really only had like a couple of years at most, and they have hundreds of thousands of radical followers with extreme mutations, many of whom are toting literally chaotically...
You're very correct. In 40K, our world cartels would be the nobility. I mean, they would probably be like the organized military, yeah. Considering that the Imperial Guard are taken off-world and they're the equivalent of an organized military, the cartels would become like the PDF. Or local traditional militant forces, yes. A lot of gangs act as militia for areas of the Underhive. Useful given the lack of law enforcement? Yes, absolutely. You're completely right. Ran by gangs, at least the lower parts on other planets like Armageddon. We see Imperial forces that gang hunt and force them to part of the Armageddon Steel Legion. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Armageddon is unique. Their gang culture and their guard culture are both unique. But yes, you do have a fair point that sometimes people who are not the cream of the crop become guardsmen. It's kind of the same way that the Night Lords get a bunch of recruits who are not good, and yet they somehow become Night Lords anyway. I could definitely see a lot of guardsmen, kind of like the Savlar regiments, who are not good people necessarily, ending up becoming regimental guardsmen.
Blessed
100%.
whether it be the Tox Flamer, whether it be the mutated Brawler with all of his, dosed, chaos-corrupted combat stims, various champions, almost all of them bear physical mutations, like major physical mutations. But just in that, including, by the way, the Death's Heads guys, the Tox Bombers, those are all things that need to be made with ritualism. Not to mention that they're actively trying to corrupt the entirety of the Hive in and of itself through ritual displays, sacrifice, desecration of Imperial iconography, etc., etc., etc. They know what they're about. Like, they are one of the few Nurgle cults that I've seen that really have their shit together. Like, they are remarkably organized, which, probably comes down to the Triumvirate, but still, at the end of the day, impressively well organized for a Nurgle cult, especially a homegrown cult. Like, they are rarely this well put together, guys. I don't think we really give them enough credit. This is impressive, like, genuinely. And considering how many things they would have had to...
See, I'm just trying to emphasize how cool this cult is. Notice, guys? See how much I'm emphasizing how cool this cult is, because I like them.
Plague zombies, because technically I like to keep that to the host of the...
Yep, that was the other thing. God, I kept going on about typhus in this video because I was like, they're not real poxwalkers, guys. They're not real poxwalkers. I don't want to call them poxwalkers. Even though the game calls them poxwalkers, I don't want to call them poxwalkers. For fuck's sake, there can be more than one breed of goddamn Nurgle zombie. There's plenty of types. I mean, we even see that in the books, how Nurgle zombie can mean like 1,000 different things, from poxwalker to infected acolyte to cultist to just psychopathic person. Like, Nurgle zombie is such a wide variety of things in general. There's no point to me arguing with literally nothing here.
Forces of ritualists are likely headed, or at least they are making use of, what rogue psychers they can find. So, just a quick strategy analysis and success and failure point that they've done so far. From what I can gather, they have gotten the local uprising down to a T. They've converted the regiment. That's rare, but it is very, very spicy. Like, that is the kind...
Honestly, I don't think any of the Psyker or Warp videos need a retrospect. I mean, if you want to look... Dude, I'm going to be on here until 8. Like, you can look at whatever videos you want, but the next things I'm going to look at are my Sister of Battle video, and then my 2 favorite videos, which I have kept on the channel. So, actually, you know what? Let's be honest, if you're watching this stream, you've probably watched the rest of these. Let's look for a minute at those two other videos. Where's the Sister of Battle video? Because I just want to spend 2 seconds on that, and then I'm going to go find my 2 favorites. I did Sisters of Battle a while ago. There it is. It was an Archon's Adversaries.
Good morning.
It's a Gen 2-ish.
Around that, the sisters on air zealously destroy anything in their way, and they can be deployed in the hundreds. Most of the Sisters of Battle, heavy carapace. We've gone over. Heavy carapace is really, really tough. And sisters...
Can you hear that in the background? Let me know if you hear that.
For all that they are still human, are really well armored. So, those light, small arms, especially rifles, stub weapons...
Do you notice he's breathing through his fucking nose? You notice he's breathing through his fucking nose and not breathing through his mouth?
Anything a cultist is likely to get their hands on, not really going to be all that helpful to them. Acceptable weapons. So, I've put here exotic ranged weapons.
Oh, that was a pause. I wonder why he paused there.
And heavy melee weapons. Now, heavy melee weapons more has to do with the design of light infantry weapons, maybe a bolter, but usually they build themselves exactly the same way that raptors build themselves for the Adeptus Astartes. They will have chain or power weapons and a pistol. This allows them to float above the battlefield, find juicy or vulnerable targets like enemy heavy weapons or targets like that they could pretty easily massacre, drop down on top, and how do we make them undangerous? You could make it a gun, 100 millimeter.
Oh,
It will have significant orbital defense. 200,000 cultists. Now, you might say, that seems really unfair.
God fucking damn it. Okay, just to give you the idea of what I'm hinting at here, a lot of people noticed it in the comments, and you may not notice it in the moment. I'm eating fucking boiled peanuts while I'm filming. Oh, it's the most embarrassing video I've ever uploaded. I'm eating fucking boiled peanuts. I'm cracking them open and eating them while I'm talking. That's why I keep, like, taking breaks and why the tenor of my voice keeps changing. It's because I'm eating fucking, like, I'm eating boiled peanuts. That's why.
Here's the thing. We're not talking cultists like the Blood Pact use. We're not talking cultists like Chaos Armies use. These are word-bearer cultists. They are some of the most miserable and poorly equipped cultists in the entirety of the Chaos Warband lexicon. They are dregs of the dregs scum, who are basically equipped.
He just takes a break, takes a drink, eats a boiled peanut, and then keeps fucking going. Oh, I'm so embarrassed by this video. Oh, it's my worst. Oh, it's my worst. It's absolutely my worst. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. And people commented on it too. It's down here somewhere. I know somebody fucking said it. Oh, really? Maybe somebody... Okay, maybe it was on another video. But fuck, man. Like, I'm always surprised that nobody's shocked. Like, I'm actively eating while I'm making this shit. It's so unprofessional and pathetic.
Have a ton of firepower at their disposal.
Also, thank you. I'm glad there are other people who like boiled peanuts. I'm a big fan. It is culturally relevant to where I am. See, you would think it's my trusty Vault 14 canteen, but it's actually exactly what I'm drinking from right now, which is a dirty mason jar. And you can't hear it because I've learned how to drink silently.
Which a regular sister squad will not have. Merits of special tactics. Surprise, everyone is dead now.
Oh my god. So you can fucking hear me chewing on the goddamn thing. I'm gonna stop before I actively just start cringing out of my own skin. God, I hate that. Alright, I promised to show you my two favorite videos. I know what number one... Okay, so the first one is the Imperial food video. I spent so much fucking time researching this video. I'm not going to lie to you. I spent so much time researching this video, and nobody watched it.
Now, in 40K,
I'm not going to be mean. Nobody watched this. To this day, there is only one video that I go back and watch willingly, and it is the fucking food video. I love the food video.
Mostly because the humanity...
Yeah, I know. You guys are devoted. I'm not saying that you didn't. I know that you guys basically watch everything. But of the 304 views, that's only half of our, like, current subscribers. So I would like to highlight to people, I made a fucking food video, and it's an hour and 16 minutes, and it's one of my #1 favorites. Now, it's up there, but fuck, it's a good video. I don't often toot my own horn, but goddamn, this was a good one. Nobody ever talks about food. Nobody ever talks about 40K and how you feed all these people. Nobody ever goes into the different levels of this shit. I went into the food groups. I went into the material. All of it.
And these animals are able to grow naturally at a speed and at a size that would allow them to be a very useful commodity for a very long period of time. The Imperium, and especially Agri-Worlds, are obsessed with the idea of essentially keeping their resources alive and recycled for. So it's not like they're going to be running the population of fish into the ground. This is something that they will strictly limit against. And the Administratum can push all that they want.
Yeah. If you're gonna shill my shit, by the way, do friends. Like, I know people also put my stuff on Reddit. Feel free to do that. I'm not gonna say like, hey, spread me around, post my videos, and don't do that for the love of God. But like, if you feel, hey, there's some stuff that might help a friend out, share it with a friend. I am really happy to find friend of a friend stuff. Like for myself, I share videos with people that I know who might get a kick out of it. For example, when I talk about word bearers, I have a specific friend that I always share those videos with. Or when I talk about Tyranids, I send it to another specific friend who's a subscriber. But yeah, I always have friends who I know, like, hey, they'll like this thing that I did. But yeah, so that's number one. That's one of my absolute favorites. There is one other, though. And that one other, again, this is the one that I don't think anybody would guess, because it's a relatively old one. One, I am very proud of the Killing Marines and Custodes video, but there is another down here. By the way, I only have one video hidden from you guys, and you'll see it eventually, but it's not coming back in a public way. It's just going to be private forever. What was it? It was about cultists. I think it was cultist vehicles? Not armory. Cult vehicles. Where was it? I like the merchant vessel one. That's good. But there was another one that I did recently, wasn't there? Huh. Maybe it is cults, arms and armory. Cultist armory? Oh no, it was cultist vehicles. Fuck. Let me go find it. You put it on a few fanfic forums? Oh, thank you. I'm glad they enjoyed the Mechanics vs. Tau one. That one is a specific type of one that I would argue is agreeably more fanfic. It was Cultist Vehicles. That was the one I was looking for. There it is. Cultist and Civilian Armor. This one is another one that got like maybe 400. And it's a Gen 1, but fuck did I find some good art for this.
Civilized worlds would only have access to tier 1 or 2 vehicles, while something like a truly organized...
It would be nice to get another hooked. Hey, y'all, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes while you watch this. Again, I'm pretty sure all of you have watched this video. If you haven't, let me know. But I'm going to let you watch this for a minute while I take a 5-minute break, and I'll be right back. After this, we're going to jump through. We're going to do a quick look at analytics. I want to show you guys some subscriber stuff that nobody really gets to see. Yeah, the armored limo is great. See, you have to use a lot of Gene Stealer stuff for this. But I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'm going to let this run for a bit. Specifically, I'm going to go to the next slide. Yeah, I'm going to let this next slide. And then we're going to jump into the homebrew review. I'm going to do a quick rundown of all the submissions and all the people who made them, because we have an incredible amount. But I'll be right back in a minute.
Cult, they're used to transport men and material to areas where they are needed. However, they're also used for logistics. A big thing with Chaos Cults that aren't really talked about is Chaos Cults have to cover a huge amount of area, because they're expecting to be on the defensive in many cases if their uprising has gone well, so they have to be concerned with the Imperials managing to infiltrate their defensive lines. Which means that a lot of cults are going to maintain large numbers of Tier 1 vehicles in order to keep large numbers of troops, several thousand generally, mobile and capable of responding to incursions or mobile enemy threats. A basic list of ones that we know exist in Universe already. We have bikes like the Ridge Runner. I would also add to this any animal towed vehicles. If you were on a feudal, feral, or civilized world, you could look at having something like a cart horse or beasts of burden towing large quote-unquote vehicles. That would all fall into this lighter standard tier 1s, but the Ridge Runner is a pretty classic motorcycle. Then the Cargo 6, 8, 10, and 10 Plus. This is right down here. It's essentially a open cab or semi-skeletonized cab, four-wheeled or semi-tracked vehicle. They are relatively heavy, but they are also designed to carry large containers, similar to what we would consider a shipping crate in our modern day. They are a little bit bigger, and they tend to have some more complicated subsystems, but the Cargo 6, 8, and 10 are all designed to carry large loads rather than carrying lots of troops. So they have limited use, and you definitely...
Okay, I'm back. So, question. Has anybody watched this one? And I would like opinions on it, because this only has 9 comments, and one of them is from our beloved. So... Sorry, I shouldn't call him that. That's not funny. But does anyone have an opinions on this? Because I don't know who's watched it. It only has about half of the channel. but it has some stuff in it that I really like to include. One of the big ones, not only, by the way, another funny armored limo, but one of the big ones is just I wanted to include this tier system because it's part of Corrupt Contenders, and I was just kind of demoing it with this video. I was showing out how it works, but this is, again, one of those videos that I keep kind of on tap, one of the few, and it's 7 months old. I mean, it's a long ago video, but it's one that's pretty fucking important for cultists. Yeah, and the thing is, the actual armor in this armor video is limited to, like, tier 2, and then tier 3s. God, okay, I gotta say, the tier 3s that I found for this as far as images go, look at this shit, for real. The Fiat 3000 with the upgraded gun from Italy, and then I explained how it all works here. I'll see if I can find it. It's the very start of this slide.
And now into the much more bigger army cults, organized cults, and planets that have a little bit more industry. These are the heavy hitters. These are rearmed and up-armored with the biggest guns available on the planet in many cases. They will have the best armament they can possibly scrounge. Usually, these will be hive guns and anti-aircraft weapons. So large caliber autocannons, medium caliber autocannons, something like a 40mm cannon, maybe even something much larger. But las cannons, multi-lasers, or hive guns, those 100, 120, and 132mm.
All right, I'll find it. Give me a sec.
Normal angles, of course. And then it goes a little bit further that they helped us to produce, captured by a cult. But existing vehicles and parts, and then mashing them back together. 37mm cannon, a machine gun.
There it is. Okay, ready?
Here's a good one. We have the Fiat 3000 version of it. There are two Fiat 3000s, the Fiat 3000, 3000.
Listen to that fucking tank nerd go. There are two versions of the Fiat 3000. There's the one from World War I with a 100mm gun in the turret, and it's an old version. And then there's the new version from the Italian-purchased French tanks.
2000. This is the Italian tank that would have a long 30...
Bro, like, again, you gotta understand. I make these things for permanent appeal. Like, you can watch them whenever. The people who watch them as they come out, I almost feel bad for because I take such a long time between videos. So I'm like, oh, damn, I gotta keep going. Yeah, fix it again, Tony. See, but the thing is, it's not actually a Fiat production tank. That's the interesting thing. The Fiat 3000, the new one, the one from World War II, it's a FT-17 that's been sold to the Italians and then rebuilt with Italian parts. So it's actually a lot more reliable than the original Fiat 3000 from World War I. But that is some extreme nerd shit you don't got to worry about.
37mm, and it is essentially a French FT that's been licensed produced. This only has 20mm of armor in our modern day. However, that would make it a standard tier 2 in the eyes of a cult. Because
also, pretending it's our modern day in 1939 is hilarious.
Because it has a cannon, a 37mm cannon, a machine gun, and then...
It's a 47mm cannon, just to be clear. They upgraded eventually, but it's a 37 to begin with.
Over 10mm of armor. So how can I call this a tier 3? Well, very simply, if I had this as a standard design on my world, and then I gave it a longer or better gun, or even better, I stuck a las cannon into the turret, and then I increased the power from the engine, took off the governor, etc.
Oh, you think the middle one is scary? Oh, I get to that. It's a hive gun inside of a garbage truck. Like, that is the whole idea here. It is a hive gun, a 120mm field gun. Oh, it's a garbage truck. You couldn't tell? Dude, it's a garbage truck. It's 100%. It's a garbage truck that they remodified to have tracks. So this is a completely like homebrew, like someone's creation. I don't know if it was for orcs or for Imperial Guard, but it's got a Strider, one of the chicken walkers, as a turret or as a like gunner's position, and then it's got a hull-mounted thing with what was probably originally some sort of other creator's tracks. But yeah, no, it is some Syria tier stuff. I love this because it is an example of something a cult could do. You take something that is a municipal civic vehicle, you mount a wall gun on it, and think about it. If this was a real gun, it would be a long 120 or a long 75, and then the breech is in the back of the vehicle where the trash compactor would be if this was a garbage truck, and you load it from back there. I find it so fucking cool. Like, look how interesting this thing would be if it was actually used by a cult. But let's get back to what we're talking about.
Etc. made a transformer so that the las cannon can pull energy from the.
I'd also like to add that I make the claim that you can put 100 millimeters of armor and a fucking las cannon inside of a Fiat 3000. I don't know what I was smoking that day, but that would never fucking work in a million years. I mean, maybe. Extreme fucking maybe, but what I'm describing here is very much theoretical rather than real.
Engine or a multi-laser or whatever, and then I dramatically increased the armor again on one face. I would put the front up to 100 millimeters, so I would quadruple the thickness of the armor.
Yeah, just to be clear, it's got 20 millimeters of armor normally. Quadrupling it to 100 millimeters is literally going to make the tank front heavy. Look, I didn't always say that I was being straight with you in these videos. I'm just showing you examples of what could be done.
Armor on the front, and then I would put an extra 20 millimeter.
Yes, 100%. There's a loader and probably a gunner in the trash compactor. You are 100% right. You are going to smell like shit and you're gonna like it.
Plate on every single side. And now that's a tier 3 vehicle, and all that I had to do for that was essentially hook a battery up to the engine, put in a new weapon, and slap on a bunch of extra armor.
Okay, see, the theory that I'm going with here for this stupid vehicle idea is that I slap in a las cannon, and then I set up a transformer or a battery to feed it. Just to be clear, in order to get one shot out of that type of engine, you would need to leave the engine idling for like 2 hours. So you would need to turn the vehicle on, burn 2 hours worth of fuel, and then go into combat. Like, it's funny. It's funny in retrospect. But obviously 40K would have better engines than the original Fiat 3000, so it was just an example.
That's how this conversion often happens. You will have light vehicles that would definitely be considered tier 2. You know, for example,
Definitely some Syrian crap, for sure.
The the land
God love the land crawler and the Siegfried.
crawler would definitely be considered a tier 2 if you gave it a weapon, because it's relatively well armored, it's fully tracked. If you put a gun on it, it would definitely count as a self-propelled gun. And then you up armor it, give it a better gun, and maybe even a container for infantry at the back, and boop, you have an armored fighting vehicle that is genuinely a tier 3. It has a cannon, it has a machine gun, it has infantry in the back, and it is up armored.
Oh, fuck. God, I forgot that I made this reference. Oh my god. Damn, I am straight up stupid. Okay, so the reference to the Siegfried is another reference to Edge of Night, because the Siegfried is being used by the Planetary Defense Forces in that book. The way I describe it, listen.
You up armor it, give it a better gun, and maybe even a container for infantry at the back.
You up armor it, give it a better gun, and maybe even a container for infantry at the back. The description of the vehicles that I use in Edge of Night are a fucking Siegfried with a container at the back for infantry. I'm just making reference to my own goddamn fanfiction. God damn it. I fucking forgot that I did that. Oh, God, that's almost incestuous level lore. Yeah, the old epic lore for the Siegfried is used by the Death Corps. Absolutely correct.
And boop, you have an armor.
Highly recommend someone take a look at Edge of Night, by the way. Great series. It's on AO3 if you really want to look. It's on AO3. Yeah, it is good lore for sure. It's on AO3, but it's also on the Discord, so.
Fighting vehicle that is genuinely a tier 3. It has a cannon, it has a machine gun, it has infantry in the back, and it is up armored. A lot of modifications can be done to tier 2 vehicles to make them tier 3, including dramatically up armor. So, I'm just going to go through the ones I haven't gone through. The land crawl
All right, we're gonna skip ahead.
are the absolute heaviest hitters. They are rare for the average cult, but cult armies will usually have at least a few. Stolen from troopers on the field, looted from armories, that often happens. Troops will store things for the Imperial Guard, essentially if the Imperial Guard is coming through.
Okay, one of the things I was gonna ask you guys about at the end of the next live stream, because I'm gonna make both videos. I'm gonna work on one of them tonight, and then I'm gonna make the next one tomorrow night. And then I'm going to live stream again tomorrow, probably at some point, is I wanted to ask what people wanted to see next. I have a series of videos that I have planned. 3 of them are Archon's adversaries. So I was going to do adversaries for 3 videos, ask people if they wanted adversaries to continue, because I actually am considering discontinuing the adversary series as a whole. And I'm not even kidding. I'm considering completely axing that series from the channel. Because, one, they consistently get less interest because, in my opinion, they're more boring and formulaic. And while they do have more engagement from the community as far as where the story goes, I feel like people are also really hungry to see specific 40k versus non-40k and 40k versus specific factions. And once I get those 3 adversaries done, I'm actually going to put up a vote, hopefully, about whether or not we want adversaries to go forward as a series at all, or whether we want a major change to it, or whether we want it continued. So that's one of the things. I'm thinking about that. But the other thing is, if you want me to do like a lore of the fic or reading of the fic out loud, I'm totally on board with that as well. I'm actually really happy to do that. I wouldn't read it like outright. I might read it in character. But yeah, that is something that I could absolutely do.
Going to be garrisoned. The equipment might be sent on ahead, meaning that you might be storing a large number of armored vehicles on a planet that isn't currently using them. And then if an uprising happens, that cult can get access to all of those vehicles. And then you can sometimes steal them right off of the production line or in space during transit. If you take over a...
Yeah, see, you like the idea of introducing the fanfic, but do you want me to continue adversaries? That's the real question.
Ship that was transporting half a regiment's...
Yes, watching the stream, watching the video. It is definitely Inception. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Am I going to finish the printed stores? Oh, yes. No, that's one of the 3 adversaries videos coming up. I'm finishing Enothis. I'm finishing Shale 17, and I'm starting a slightly modified version of the last one, which was our requested Eldar Titans versus Tyrannid Titans, because those are the forces I haven't done yet, and it will also be including orcs, but it will be in a format that people haven't experienced yet for adversaries, so we'll see how that goes.
Russes, you will get 20 plus battle tanks for relatively cheap, and there's not much that they can do about it outside of, you know, find you navally and try and kill you. Approximated is essentially a local production, but it's not usually up to the Imperial standard. It's usually a non-Imperial standard. So these vehicles are...
You see, Raptor, you say that, but you are my beloved friend, and I know that even if I did a bad video, you would be kind to me about it. So I don't know if I trust you, buddy. I appreciate your input. It is kind of you to say that.
It can happen. Unlike tier 3s and 4s, which...
Oh, by the way, we're about to get to your homebrew in like 5 seconds, so get yourself ready.
Serve as a battle line center, like I talked about, even though they're not that numerous. The tier 4s do make up like the biggest anti-armor punch that we have available, so it's always going to be deployed when armor could theoretically come up against armor. These super heavies will make up the heaviest punch of a cult. Heaviest punch available to...
Is that a dab? Did you just dab in my chat?
Called M. They're going to be unique, and they're going to be storied. Basically, any Baneblade or super heavy transport vehicle or Knight or Titan is going to have centuries of history behind it, unless it was literally captured yesterday. These things have been passed down in many cults for a very long period of time, and
Yeah, that buffering thing is exactly what my brain looks like right now. By the way, Cult Armies is another good one. It got a good amount of
Saints
love.
Crusade. But the fact is, you would
I
never
think
in a million.
I think the Cult Armies got a lot of love because I explained a lot of the Blood Pact lore in it. I have explained Blood Pact lore to you guys, right? You're all aware of who I am as far as like the Archon, right? I hope we're all aware that I'm essentially working as Archon Nadzibar. Could I get some confirmation on all this? We all know that, right? I would certainly hope so, because at this point I've named every single thing after the Archon. And the whole point is that I'm trying to cosplay Nadzibar, essentially. So I would hope that there's an understanding as to that. But yeah, this one was a big hit because I was working on that and trying to explain or expand upon the Blood Pack architecture. Also, yes, of course, dude. The Alpha Legion have 100% influenced and or infiltrated the Space Wolves. Arguably, the Space Wolves are some of the easiest Legion to infiltrate, but that's neither here nor there. The main thing I want to look at is this. So, I would like to take a moment, or the Chaos series, definitely including bias whatsoever. Okay, sure. The main thing I want to show you guys is our subscriber count. I want to show you over the last 365 days. Alright. Just take a second. Genuinely and for real. Look at this fucking arrangement of people. I cannot believe it. Like, to this day, I understand that people are big fans of the content, just overall, and that they've been looking at just subscribing in general. But really, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Amongst all, and I mean all other channels that I've ever seen in my life, I've never seen such an incredible dedication from subscribers. You inherently, and beyond shadow of a doubt, outpace YouTube's algorithm. Do you understand what that means? That means that you as a community are more dedicated to the channel than the platform that we are currently on. To do that, to truly be dedicated to the point of being more willing to watch a random video on September 28th than the average person watching YouTube is truly unique. Not many channels can boast this look at subscription. You are decidedly my diehards. Like I said, we've only lost one person who was truly as devoted as the rest of you. And unlike God, I do not resent the loss of the single lamb. I mourn for him, but I do not resent his loss. You guys have truly made this such an incredible experience for everyone involved, myself included. You've blown me out of the water. And nobody else, no other YouTuber can boast an analytic like this. I just like to go out on a limb and say, nobody else can do this. This is the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my life. And I use fucking Google Docs and OBS to make my videos. You are unique in how purely devoted you are to the craft and the logic of the universe that you're willing to outstrip the algorithm. You are incredible. I'm truly impressed with how well you've done. And I can say to this day, if we never grow any further, I'm happy with what we've done. I am. I'm more than satisfied. You've done me the incredible service of being willing to help out. Because every one of you who joins us is another perspective that we bring to the conversation. Like I said, the lore, The conversation around Warhammer 40k has nothing to do with Games Workshop as a company. It only has to do with what we are willing to believe. And I think the belief really is the crux of the issue. Because what is the primary concern of people who are new to the series or who have returned after long wanderings to the setting? It is what is believable, what is true, what is maintained, and what is truly believed and behind it by the rest of the economic mentality of the series. That is what you represent. And let me make it very clear. You are who I'm making these videos for. I'm not doing this for myself anymore. That's a decided fact. I would not be going to such lengths to do these things and to go out of my way to include you guys if I just wanted to do it for myself. If I was a standard lore channel making the most popular content and jumping on every YouTube and Google trend that could be found, I wouldn't make Chaos Logistics. I wouldn't. I wouldn't make Analyzing Admonition. And it's not because those are popular that I make another video. I actually struggled with whether or not to make another Darktide video because I thought it would be not true to myself and true to you guys to make a video because something else was popular. But so many people wanted it that I could tell the hunger was there. And now I'm gonna stop filleting and I'm going to stop conflating my opinions with your guys' engagement. But I just want to say, no one else can boast what this community has. No one. I don't care what politics you have. I don't care what opinions you have. I don't care where you're from. No one can boast what we have made here. And I think you should be proud of that every single day. All right? Good. Let's get to the homebrew reviews. Last 15 minutes or so. Now I'm about to go and make a video on the homebrew tier list. It is unfortunately not much of a tier list anymore. We have gone away from the whole tier list structure in order to make it more of a review. I hope it's still acceptable to you guys, and yes, I'm still picking a winner for both the tier list and for the challenge. As usual, the intro remains the same. Of course, we have Gun Tuna. Gun Tuna has been so consistent and truly wonderful in his submissions. I cannot imagine someone who has more creative conception when it comes to how the Adeptus Mechanicus should be properly portrayed. If you want to talk about real sci-fi, the Ordinatus Aniliad is definitely up there as far as 40k being larger than life. We'll get into it in more detail later, but Gun Tuna's submissions have, as usual, been beyond acceptable. Another Gun Tuna is the Psycho Null Engine. The Null Engine is very much something that I've seen as quite an impressive achievement by Gun Tuna. Tuna really does like to put in stuff that is larger than life, and for once he's brought himself down to quote-unquote my level. The individual, the unit, the squad, and made something that fits, that has limitations, that has structure in a lore-wise way that I love a whole bunch. We'll get into that in a bit. Horus the Great, another more recent subscriber, and can I say that this homebrew series has been characterized so far by recent subscribers. And I mean that with absolute sincerity. The amount of near and dear to my heart recent returners to the channel has shocked me in a way that I cannot explain. The fact that people are willing to jump into this community and provide such lovely things, like the Hegemony cast and like the Antediluvians to be transferred into 40k, is again a unique thing to this channel, something that I appreciate beyond anything else because it's something that I get to experience that no one else ever will. Your guys' creativity, the collectiveness of the human mind, the value of your intelligence has truly not been squandered by submitting these homebrews to the channel, and I'm very impressed with what Horus has done in addition to the other things that he's done for the Slanesh and Zeech challenge. Potential Plateau is another new subscriber who's added in additional things. What I've liked about this homebrew more than anything, not this specific one, but them in general, is that there's been a willingness to blend. There's been a willingness to mix existing fiction with 40K, which, let's be honest, revitalization of this genre as a whole, grim dark futurism or grim dark dystopian futurism, is a necessary part of the entire fiction. Without it, we would not have some of the fundamental portions of what we consider our lore in the modern day. And Potential Plateau has added many things that are quite important for that. Love for what we get. Yeah, a bundle of weirdos 100%. It's been such a pleasure. And I can say that you guys do inspire me. Like, it's not a funny subjective concept. Inspiration is something that doesn't strike a man very often. It's something that doesn't bring a man to work very often. It's something that doesn't inspire someone to put forth effort very often. But I can say with absolute sincerity, as much as I like to bitch and make fun of the fact that we have so many submissions, there's nothing that's brought me so much joy as putting your ideas into reality and truly going into depth on things and then following up on them. Hypnotismo's Yellow Belly Command is a follow-up on something from our last homebrew video. My hope would certainly be that someone comes back to the old one in order to understand the new. And Hypnotismo and quite a few others have added things that are of great importance to their previous lore, if you understand me. It's an extension. Bone Man, of course, has added his usual beautiful line art, and he's made a engine design as well, which I love. Bone Man, again, additionally has made some Iron Harvest stuff, as we might expect. Wallflower, you're of course here. Your companies have been added. They will be gone over in more detail in the video to follow today. Yes, it's beyond impressive to me. I can't articulate in correct, appropriate, and appreciable words how the creativity of this community astounds. And to a degree, I feel a certain amount of reproachment for people who aren't willing to take homebrew into their heart. I'm willing to institute your ideas because of this reason, because it is so often and so well a beautiful idea, much like Wallflower's idea, a concept that would work but simply hasn't been explored. Don't you worry, homie, I got you after the next one. Hypnotismo again added a Malice engine. We've been talking more about the Minor Gods. I just made a video about them, so this is a very timely addition. And then Bone Man, worry not. We have the Necromorph Skin Bat 100%. Your Skin Bat is here, my friend, your Flesh Bat. If anybody sees anything that is not to their liking or not to their appreciation, you can absolutely comment on it or message me on Discord, and I'm happy to change stuff. One of the reasons that I'm going over this in the live stream is so that when I make the video, people have an hour or so to actually correct anything that they see that's wrong. Yeah. Yeah, the creativity in the homebrew makes you think I should start making something. Please do. Hell, join the Discord. For real. We have been sourcing most of our submissions from the Discord. And the Archon's archivists, which are honestly about 50% of you or more, have been more than helpful in making my videos. Yeah, everyone should make and create their creations. At some point, I have to add in my own Warhammer homebrew. I have a couple of vehicles and creations that are of that level and flavor, but now is not the time. I feel like perhaps the second year homebrew, the second anniversary, I'll add in my own stuff, but we'll see. Then we have a series of submissions from Rad Rat. Rad Rat is another new subscriber to the channel. Someone who's fresh, someone who isn't watching us right now, but who submitted over and over and over again high quality submissions, very well made, organized with personal private art, and really just an incredible amount of distance gone in terms of what they were going to make. Now there is going to be a winner for both the homebrews and for the challenge. Good. Oh, that's your main account? Great, lovely. Well, I can say that you've made 6 homebrews that have made it into this challenge, which considering that the standard limitation was about 4, I'm giving you some leeway because I particularly loved your brand of homebrew, which I can say I'm very proud of having and being able to host these there. These are very nice. Let's get on to the Zeech and Slanesh challenge here. Now you'll notice that I haven't put the rank there yet. There's a reason for that. I am not yet qualifying these things with a grade. There is a winner and a loser. There is a highest rank and there is a lowest rank to these engines. I'm just not telling you what they are yet. We have the Botchling from Nurgle. We have the Hypnotismo's Needler. We have Potential Plateau's Uptala Ritual Support Platform, a very impressive. And I had to use some AI art for just this, but I used the standard resource, so it shouldn't be too bad. Of course, Radrat has their own stuff. Wallflower's Infernal Orchestra is up there, a very large demon engine. Nurgle's Decimator, or Dementor rather, is up there, of course, as a matter of course. Bone Man's Lairish Temptox, very nice. Radrat's Skycarver. Raptor, your Zechian Weaver is up here, a very impressive one. I hope I've done it a good amount of justice. I've summarized a lot of the details that you asked me to include, but the ranking, of course, is not clear as of yet. I'm actually going to put some question marks there just to be clear with it. Nobody is ranked yet, but again, as with all of these challenges, there's a winner and there's a loser. I can't say that some are just inherently exactly the same as others. The Salient Ghostwalker, Hypnotismo again, a very, very good job. Honestly, Hypno, you made like a dozen or more that are in here, or half a dozen. Quite a few that have made it into the final ranking. And then Honey Glazed Ham's Exhibitionist Engine. I fucking love this one. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a strong contender. It is a nice one, not only because it's a Hydra and I love those, but also because the artwork and the design is very beautiful. So that is what we have for the homebrew review. If there are no other questions, I'm going to finish about there. We've done a retrospective on the channel. We've done about a 2-hour stream. And I have plenty of time here to go into you guys' questions, to clear up things for you, or to clarify things for you in the document. Again, we've had 27 total details. And there's so many wonderful things that have been added. Extensions to previous lore, additions from external lore, and many, many wonderful additions to our overall lexicon. One of the things for adversaries that somebody asked me about was adding in some of the homebrew materials to adversaries. And that's one of the things that I'll be asking you guys about when I ask about continuing or discontinuing the adversaries series as a whole. So I'll give you guys another like 5 or 6 minutes. If there's any videos that you want to watch with me, any reviews that you want done, any questions that you have, I would be happy to field them right now. But I'll give you guys another couple of minutes, and if there's no questions, I will get ourselves done. And you know what? I'm going to start recording the homebrew tier list immediately. The homebrew review is coming soon, probably tonight. Any other questions from you guys? Anything that you'd like to field? I know that you guys have a great deal of actual questions, some of which I would be very happy to answer. Your sister stuff? I assume, but by the sister stuff you mean your last homebrew information? So the flyers like the Borellian Sky Cutter and the others? Echelons wind up on the list. Didn't see them when you scrolled. Well, if something is not on the list right now, feel free to mention it in the next one or in the next homebrew. I don't think the echelons ended up on this list, specifically because I don't know if there was a submission for them. The ATV's here as well. Yep, it's here. Whether or not it'll get added in as a sisters thing, we'll have to see how Adversaries goes. If people want it to be like just a combat comparison, including homebrew or not, we'll have to see. Your first submission was the echelons? Okay, submit that again. Actually, you know what? DM me directly, Wallflower, and I will get you a slide, okay? I want to make sure that everything that people had gets in. And that's kind of another thing that this live stream was for, was to make sure that I had everybody's submissions. Because let's be honest, the homebrew submission tab was an absolute fucking mess. And as I went through it, it became more and more and more complicated to find everybody's details in an effective way. Yeah, no, I agree. The echelons are very much something I'm excited for. If there's something that you'd like to submit, now would be the time on Discord to send that to me, and I will post you up another slide. But with that said, I think that's the end of the questions and the end of the details overall. So if you guys wouldn't mind, I'd like to say have a good night, and we will get to the end of this live stream. It's been a pretty good one, honestly. 2 overall hours. I let it get dark behind me. We'll be moving on to doing the homebrew tier list soon. Obviously, once I get in any last minute submissions, any details that people want to see. There's like 15 overall, but I'd be happy to go to 16, 17, 18. That is no problem with me whatsoever. Either way, I wish you all a good luck and a lovely good night, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you a lovely good night.